at that video graphic and go, what? Legit, this is a solid map for Elevate and Talon. Again, nightmarish performance against the Dire Wolves. So we have set ourselves up for a banging second map. Elevate, one away from the major. Talon looking to bounce back after a disastrous Villa rob. We head into the ban phase.
Certainly do. Would love to see if we're going to see, you know, like, I feel like the last attack of ban phase was absolutely wild. Seeing Twitch and Jackal taken out. Jackal, not so much. I feel like Jackal was such a common ban like 12 months ago, probably even a little bit longer than that. Faded out into the midst a bit. And yeah, Monty's going to be banned out by Elevate, in fact. This is
I wonder... you know what would have been funny if Talon banned it?
Yeah.
Because it was the Monty against ED that
ruined their lives.
1 versus 4, they lost that and then lost the match.
Yep.
In the round after.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? The Aruni. All right, we had to nerf Onigiri. It had to be done.
Fair enough. Onigiri, DMR, Aruni.
Yeah,
add that together and it's not fun. It is not fun.
It's actually really frustrating to watch if you're not a fan of Elevate. When you watch him on the Aruni, it can just be all sorts. Decent ban phase, honestly. Considering Talon used the Monty, good read from Elevate, and considering the Aruni is used quite often by Elevate, good read from Talon. So, bit of countering happening there. How much of an impact it will have, we'll just wait and see. But the Thatcher is taken out this time around, which is pretty pivotal in some of these rounds, in some of these sites, I should say. Oh, we're in for a banger here, I reckon.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
What makes you think that, Robert?
Just something in my loins. Can feel it in my loins. You know?
I don't even know what that means.
When you're older, I'll tell you.
Is it an old person thing?
It is.
Well, you're right. I wouldn't know about that. I am the youngest in the... Oh, actually, Mandy's the youngest now.
Mandy is
She's
now
taken that mantle, thank God.
She has. But you are still the only single one in the entire broadcast team.
Yeah, and that probably extends to everyone working behind the scenes as well. Honestly.
Yeah, would say. L plus no maidens equals Guz.
I really want to... I can't even get mad, honestly. No response. Focus on the game. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for, mate. One of these teams will be booking their ticket to the Charlotte Major. And right now it's Elevate who are on their way to doing so. One map up in the series. And like we were saying, just in the tiny little pre-match that we got then, we are not at all changing our concept just because Talon have picked Skyscraper, because Elevate are well and truly proficient on this map, sorry.
What was it? 8-7?
Against
OG? They lost a 1v1?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was actually, you know what, it was a 1v2. Jigsaw actually won the 1v2, so...
So both of these teams lost 7-8 on Skyscraper. Oh. Illuminati confirmed.
It's the proof. It's all the proof we need. But a bigger storyline is the fact that we had 3 Korean teams coming into the playoffs.
And none of them might make it through at this
Could
rate.
you imagine?
Oh, that'd be heartbreaking.
I mean, that would mean that Chiefs would have to beat Dan one game. Come on, come on. A bit of a stretch.
Of course, that match coming up later today after this best of 3. Get comfortable. Still a long day to go. For Elevate, though, I want to close this one out quickly. Talon with decent control over towards the eastern side of the map. It is a karaoke defense to start things off here. Talon with decent map control so far, and this is where we see the Roteros used by Soldier. The Flores having such a big impact for Talon. If there was any positive to take out of that first map for Talon, it was the use of the Flores. Super effective for the most part and did a good job in clearing a lot of util.
Would agree. How they worked off the back of that, that was a little bit hit and miss, but certainly the use of the Roteros were... chef's kiss. A lot of util burnt early, and the problem for me is they haven't made a hell of a lot of leeway into this site yet, and there's only a minute left. Granted, I haven't seen enough Skyscraper to actually comment what they need to get done.
We saw a lot of Skyscraper just there. Skyline, maybe.
I think you're right, but that's not fantastic.
Well, definitely isn't for Elevate. Now a man down, but time. Probably the biggest enemy now for Talon. We need to see them really push in towards site. Not bad though. 30 seconds to work with. Onigiri with a strong position over towards Karaoke. Mr. Punch as well. I don't mind this from Elevate, but Zappa falls down. That leaves 3 on towards the objective, and Onigiri on this prone angle, likely to only be able to find 1 kill. It's close. Zappa down below. There's a player just to his right. The timing. Oh my, it's not great, but he does finally find it. A 4 versus 4. Onigiri misses those shots. Aziz for the plant. Mr. Punch close by, taken down. Now it's down to 2 for Talon, and it's all falling apart. Onigiri steps up. Soldier now left in the 1v3. Doesn't commit to the plant. Elevate to get round 1.
Whew. That is a statement. I'm going to go ahead and reiterate what I said at about a minute left. Not enough done from Talon. Not enough pressure around the sites. They hadn't even taken drum control. With 40 seconds left on the clock, they were trying to contest through Dragon. Things are not looking all that fantastic. Onigiri with a long line from Karaoke. Players underneath. I believe it was Mr. Punch. That is... I mean, it's a bit concerning for me overall.
I think the big thing from Talon is they have a man advantage there. In an ideal world, you likely need someone to just rotate across a bit of pressure, maybe Karaoke window or up the black stairs potentially, or the main stairs a little bit earlier, and just have a different point of attack to distribute Elevate's remaining defense elsewhere. Because for the most part, they were still able to hold on quite nicely despite having the man advantage, because they had enough firepower to hold off those lines of entry for Talon. So again, time, bit of the enemy there, but props once more to Elevate.
One thing I definitely noticed was the drone game. The drone economy from Talon was pretty poor. With a minute left, there was only 2 drones available, which meant that either Elevate were on another level in taking out those drones, or things were just being given over far too quickly, far too easily. Good bit of info to start with here. I'm not really seeing a hell of a lot of repicks from Talon. Seems like they've got a very clear idea as to what they want to be doing throughout these matches. And without the Thatcher here, double wall becomes pretty hard to deal with. We've seen a lot of players swinging from the single door to contest the long lines.
Maverick torch into grenade over the wall. Able to clear the claw. That allows Aziz now to come across and open it up with an exothermic. Elsewhere, Tapper. The opening kill on to Canos. The wall breached, so that's decent pressure in towards the site. But Talon now find themselves a man down. A long way to go in this one.
Small advantages that Talon gain are lost in man advantages by just sheer aggression from Elevate, and this is something we've always asked of Elevate, is these early rounds, how aggressive can you be? How quick can you get the contact in? Partly job done for Talon at the moment. They have pressure coming in from the western side of the map. They also have double wall open, so definitely means that Elevate can't rest on their laurels. They can't relax, because at any time, Talon could look to push in. And it looks like they may well start to head in that direction.
Mr. Punch, though, the SMG. Talon in tatters, but Soldier responds on the window. Has a good cross, but Mark with the quick peek. Surely that seals it. That said, Hetty is in the sight. Might be able to catch another on the rotation. Misses those shots, though. Clips the shoulder of Mark, who will survive.
Only for a brief second. Demic coming in from the side of Dragon as well, so this is not looking good whatsoever. Talon, they could isolate these fights, and they're going to do so as well. A 2v2 now. Smoke's left on Mr. Punch's hip, but Hetty's going to go big.
Now it's up to DCH. Down below. The barbed wire, the sound cue, surely. Hetty has a read. I think he does. Demic sticks. Now it's a post plant. DCH, such a difficult position to come back from. Oh, it's a prone angle from Hetty. The response from DCH doesn't land. Both players now on the attack, able to retreat outside. Well played by Talon.
For me, that was one from Talon in the first minute. It was the proficiency to open up Geisha wall, to open up the double wall on site. And that just, it just causes so much pressure, for Elevate. Even after finding the first pick, they know that they can't sit back and try to find individual fights, because the problem is if they overexpose themselves to any of the breaches, they're in trouble. Talon do a great job at kind of applying different types of pressure. One toward Dragon pushing in from Geisha, then it kind of it inevitably turns when Hetty gets on site. And Elevate have a very clear idea saying, no, mistakes were made, but they will not be made a second time. Lightning will not strike twice on this side.
Well, Lightning does strike twice in the sense that we're going back to the same objective. Elevate rolling the dice a little bit here over towards Exhibition, seeing if they can correct some of the mistakes that they did make in that second round. I think most notably the double wall getting open so quickly was
5 seconds remaining.
a bit of a mistake, or allowing it to be open so early at least applied a lot of pressure onto their positions, and then clearly late round the rotations back towards the objective as well cut down. So we'll have to see those two improvements made, but it's really tough, I think, to hold on to that breach for so long. And a big reason as to why, at least personally, I just don't rate this objective at all, because the double wall, once it's opened, very, very tricky site to try and get control back of.
I would say that the time it's going to take Talon to open things up,
I mean, even quicker.
Yeah, this is the thing right now, is they haven't even lost any nades this time, because it's not the Electroclaw that's being used, it was just a mute jammer. So Elevate understanding that it's not really going to make a difference. Opening that with the Maverick still on the board is just far too easy. And the decisions that they have to make, this is going to come down to ones for Elevate. Can they win these fights when these engagements start to occur? Because otherwise, they're in strife.
Onigiri now pressured. Could have swung and found the kill, but elects not to, at least not initially. That bar position now, very scary, and it's a position that you really want to be able to hold when the double wall's open. Elevate the pressure against the mounting. Onigiri needs to be careful. There's a player just to his right on the double window. It's Soldier. Neither player will commit to a fight, though.
Very much at a stalemate at this point in the round. Talon just trying to play around with what they've got left. And like you said, double wall open already. They've got pressure across on the northern side as well. Talon are really doing pretty much everything you could need to put pressure onto Elevate. They have just ticked off one by one by one. Good thing is, Elevate are still extended, so it's not going to make life easy for Talon, but if they decide to go for something a lot more direct, I don't know whether Elevate are going to have enough to slow it down.
Onigiri. He has been in some very scary positions this round, but he gets the open pick. He's going to go for a second outside, but doesn't find much. 40 seconds now remain for Talon.
A little bit of contact here, but he needs to be careful not to over-commit. He needs to stay alive. In fact, he's going to do one better. He's going to rip the head off of Aziz. And with 30 seconds left, this is crumbling in the hands of Talon.
Sapper for another. I don't think Talon are getting back in this round. It's been a little bit of a disaster. Good aggression from Elevate. Onigiri hungry for more. Soldier gets a freebie, but with only 10 seconds remaining, it's tricky to see Talon being able to bring this back. It would be a miracle. 5 seconds now. They've got no idea. Only a couple seconds remain. Mr. Punch holds down the line, and it's pretty easy from here. Elevate, correct their mistakes and claim round 3.
That they do. I think the saving grace for Elevate there is Talon just take too long. Once they've got objectives open, they slow back down. And they just isolate far too many 1v1s. Onigiri finds 2 1v1s with absolutely no one in sight to trade.
And he had basically no cover that entire round. He's running around pretty exposed. Talon actually had a decent read on that. He was dead.
Yep.
100%. You shouldn't be able to hold that position, but alas, Onigiri, he made it work. And he is that player in probably the entirety of APAC that could make silly positions work.
Hey, rank strats, baby.
It's all that practice on C's, apparently.
There you go, kids. If you want to get as good as Onigiri, you want to go to SI and become one of the biggest fraggers in all of history, just play ranked in C.
Well, he is the single map kill record holder at the Six Invitational.
Yep.
Not a bad little stat on the resume.
It's not awful, you know. It's definitely not something to that you'd forget anytime soon.
10 seconds left.
Looking at this hole right now, the vertical pressure from Elevate, I wonder how committed they're going to be to holding Geisha here, because it can be very, very tricky. They've got a lot of reinforcements and so much utility up there. You've got 2 ADSs, you've got a deployable shield. Obviously, you've got all your reinforced walls to help. But with that unreinforced hatch, it does leave for an easier rotate back down. So even if they commit for the first minute and a half, I think you could almost say that it might well be job done, but it really does look like they've got such a heavy commitment up top.
Talon setting up to take it head on.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Nomad for the flank watch, and
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
I'll protect them from behind. Ace Sun was used early in through this dragon position. Long line of sight to cut off those double doors. I believe that's Mark, who now thinks better of it. Onigiri shut down.
If anyone's going to fall on Elevate right now, I think you'd be, not happy that it's Onigiri, but you're happy that it's a castle. UMP in hand, not going to do a hell of a lot. The barricades are already down and being used, so it's not awful by any means. But obviously, Onigiri being probably one of the more proficient fraggers that we've got in APAC. Apparently, Mr. Punch doesn't give a damn about storylines, because he's just backing on from what was an important Villa performance from him.
90 seconds now remains for Talon to bring this round back. Hard breach off the board though. Need to see the fraggers come alive. Aziz in a strong position. There's a rotate in towards this T-room position, but can't really push that. Talon need to time this. If they time it wrong, it's going to prove to be very, very costly.
And I like the vertical line looking up into the door of drum. That's actually really important. The fact that they found Heady, you're absolutely laughing. There was a barricade there slowing things down, but Soldier's in such an advanced position that that's all gone and nullified. Bit of intel, a little bit of noise being made. New mine's working perfectly. 45 seconds left. And the big looming issue for me is Talon have not dealt with this Geisha hold. They're going to have to go direct to site and try and win their engagements, try and win their ones. 30 seconds left, and DCH is making matters worse.
Aziz with the diffuser outside the window. He'll be forced into a vault. Not the position you want to find yourself in. 20 seconds remains. Mark is over towards top main. If he wins this engagement, surely it's over. A sharp shot with the SMG, and now 10 seconds remains. Aziz in the 1 versus 4, and Elevate once again a strong defensive round. Time the enemy of Aziz. It's a sharp shot, but it dwindles down to 0. Really well played once more by the Thai team.
That it is. That it is. Elevate looking more than comfortable here on Skyscraper. And I do want to touch on, Onigiri goes down first. Again, it doesn't matter. The barricades are really what slows down a lot of Talon's time in the earlier portions of that map. The fact that we see Mr. Punch stepping up yet again in a moment of need, it looks beautiful. And there's nothing that I think from where I'm looking, Talon have to either deal with that upstairs play much earlier, or they have to make the call and try and look at sight from a different angle, because Elevate were untouchable up there.
3-1 the scoreline. Still relatively par for the course though, particularly here on Skyscraper defense. Games can heavily lean towards that side. So I'm not getting too excited at the moment for Elevate and their prospects at the major, but no doubt a pretty comfortable start for them. This is where Talon, this round in particular, need to formulate a response. For the most part, the util game, the map clear, it's actually not been too bad, but just transitioning that across in towards the actual objective itself has been lacking a little bit. Elevate, to their credit, shutting players down, continually aggressing, maybe when they're not in the safest of positions, and Talon getting caught out.
Something that Elevate are really well known for, especially in APAC South.
Oh,
Those early engagements are dangerous, and so too is Mark here, Guz.
this is aggressive. Look at the bravery from Mark, just peeking straight back through the breach left behind by Hetty. Sapper as well is inside of Exhibition. Has a peek over towards his Samurai window, but doesn't really find much. Does Talon have a read? They're still dealing with these hard breached walls. That said, Soldier walks straight in towards Lounge, gets that pick onto Sapper, and that does force this roam back.
In the meantime, DCH had already forced his way back. It's a bit unfortunate for Sapper. He gets caught out in this instance. But now, Talon with the man advantage for the first time in a long time, it feels. This position here has so much emphasis on it, it's not even funny. There are 3 magnets sitting in front of him with 2 ADS devices just to his right. Elevate really do not want to lose this deployable shield.
Plenty of util from the attack, though. Just needs to be timed well. Onigiri, we know he's going to peak this. He is hungry, but he's forced back by the flash. The smoke in response, but Talon continue to push. Onigiri forced down, over towards Kocha. He's going to potentially now go for a flank over towards the main stairs. Talon need to be mindful of this. They do not have the Nomad in play like they have in the past, and this 5 attackers alive. No one watching a drone, and Kanos pays the price.
A little bit fortunate there. It was the hip fire into the ADS that actually catches him out, and now they've got to worry about Onigiri. This is not a good situation for Talon. They either have to completely ignore him or go hell for leather onto him, and it looks like completely ignore is the role here. Onigiri will be able to make his way back upstairs. Believe through black he should be fine, and that he will be. Still quite a lot of pivotal parts to this map that Talon are not being able to test and execute on. I don't like that they've only got T so far.
20 seconds. Oh, the nade. But Mr. Punch survives. A key player in this round, but Hetty deals with that. Really well played. Now Mark needs to step up, but Aziz is already in sight. Mark doesn't have the line of sight onto him, but he does onto Soldier. Responds with the trade elsewhere. 2v1. Mark now with 3. It's a 1 versus 1, and it's time once more. The vein of Talon's existence. Elevate. Again, another great effort on the defense.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Time has been the fault of Talon in multiple rounds in these playoffs, leaving things far too little, far too late. Mark, in essentially what was a 1v3, plays it to perfection once again. On Villa, it was Mr. Punch. On Skyscraper, it is Mark. It does not matter where you go at this point. Elevate seem to have an answer, and Talon are scrambling for rounds here. Don't forget, this is Talon's map pick.
I think this is a must-win round for Talon. Penultimate match point for Elevate would be pretty devastating, and having to crawl that back even on a Skyscraper defense, that's going to be a challenge, especially with the pressure now really ramping up.
Well, you know what, even further than that, especially when you look at who you're versing the ranked demons themselves, Elevate, who aren't afraid to just use rank strats. We saw a blitz rush in round 1 of their attack on Villa, and we saw an Amaru rush on the final round to close Villa. So Elevate are by no means conventional when they're on the attack, which is what makes them even more dangerous. I don't know if it's a danger to themselves or a danger to the other team, but it sits in there in a very weird way.
Thanos takes a little bit of damage off spawn. I think it may have been friendly fire, but either way, not been the greatest of maps for him. This is the aggression from Elevate we come to expect. 2 players down below. Talon, to their credit though, the double wall here in towards the objective. They've done a really nice job of being able to open this up early. In fact, their previous 2 attempts, this wall's already been opened, so already a little bit slower than previous attempts, but nonetheless, it should be relatively easy goings to get it open this time. Oh no, the magnet.
Don't tell me. Did it get it? No. Oh, it didn't get it. Hasn't hit the mark. There we go. It will on the second. And there's still four more nades in the pockets for Talon. Jeez. They are loving the nade game right now. Good for them in a, look, it's not as proficient as it was in other rounds in terms of opening that double wall. It gets done nonetheless. Now we've got to focus on where Talon are putting their pressure, where they are starting to put their emphasis.
Half the round now remains. Talon will scout down below and ensure that there's no one lurking, and I think for the most part it is relatively clear. Just one player off site over towards coat check, I believe. Elsewhere, over towards the west, it's a sneak inside. The soldier. We've got to look at TCH, who is still down below. Maybe this is what Talon need, just another pincer from a different angle. 4 players send it elsewhere, probably over towards the breach, and then have Soldier sweep in later, collect some of these kills with the LMG.
The LMG meta is well and truly in play, and especially on these kind of sites, it can be devastating having a gun with so much damage, so much ammunition. I'm not liking how long this is taking Talon to get into position, though. I feel like they're going to, again, leave it down to time. They're leaving their fate in the hands of Elevate's 1v1s, which have been pretty damn phenomenal so far. Oh, my God.
DCH down below. Wasn't cleared. Disaster for Talon, and I think Mark could be on for yet another in the corner of drums, but I don't think his impact will even need to be felt. Demic in a 1v4, Elevate staring down the barrel of a 5-1 half. This has been a near perfect start for Elevate, 2 rounds away from the major.
They're not mucking about. This is Talon's first time in the playoffs. Elevate have been here multiple times before, Guz. They have missed out on majors at every single step along the way. They're not missing their opportunity here. They are not willing to let this go.
Is Elevate though?
Don't.
Have I done it?
You did it yesterday. You did this yesterday.
That's the hard thing about Elevate. They have been in this position. How many times was it last year? 8, 9?
8 games.
Eight
they were in this position, but 2 of those games were to qualify for SI, not for a major. But they had 6 maps to qualify for a major in the regular stage as well as in playoffs. So it's fair to say...
I don't want to call it early.
It's fair to say that if Talon bring this back, we're not surprised. But you know what they say, Guz?
What do they say?
They say new year, new me.
Really?
The turning of the year. There's
Turning a new leaf?
Yeah,
Is that what they say?
yeah, they do say that. A New Year's resolution for Elevate was not to miss out on major opportunities.
At the moment, playing really well. Yes, Skyscraper defense, but for the most part, Talon looking shaky. Why wouldn't you be? 5 of the best players from Thailand hunting you down. Relentless pressure. It's been really, really tough going. Can they find, though, a bit of consistency, a bit of solace, perhaps, on the defensive half? We head over towards Karaoke and Tea Room for the first attempt. Elevate, bring the Osa out for the first round. The Dockerby as well. Once more, not shying away from these pocket picks.
It is literally just the most Elevate thing I've ever seen. You're up 5-1, and instead of playing safe and bringing, your stock standard hard breaches and your util denials, you're coming straight out with a Dockerby pick and an Osa pick. Granted, in APAC South, Osa has actually been a huge nuisance. On a couple of particular maps, I'm looking to bank as one of the pivotal maps that we see it really being played on. But it's certainly in use.
Elevate, they are stacking the top of these stairs. They don't give a damn about clearing the map. Every single player holding down this line. Aziz with the quick peek, forced back. Using these gas canisters early, Canis looks to support over towards the stairs. Unfortunately, though, Sapper, I think the only player not there, taken down by Hetty.
It's been said that the way Elevate play is they throw their first attacks. And then, when you're comfortable, They hit you with a quick 1-2.
Is that from Mr. Punch?
Also known as Mr. Punch.
Yeah.
But minute 10 left up here for Elevate to try and find these openings. They've got no pressure over toward Dragon. They've got no pressure toward Drum. Everything is out on the external rafter right now, which a little bit concerning. DCH finally starts to make his move across and ensure that Talon's defense has kind of crumbled into the site and suffocated around the flanks.
Elevate, honestly, a bit all over the shot in this round. We'll have to see what they can produce. Proxy gives away DCH's position down below. With 35 seconds remaining, we need to see somebody find an untraded pick. Canos needs to be so careful. He goes for the jump out. Oh, it's now a 3-on-4. What was that? Talon had the advantage. Soldier brings it back though. A 3-on-3. Demic gets in on the action. Mr. Punch, we need to see that 1-2 action from him. DCH to support, but he can't win that fight. Hetty, just too good. Mr. Punch now with 1v3. And it's been a very poor attack from Elevate, it must be said. 5 seconds remain. It continues down. It's a strong 1v1, but time, his biggest enemy.
DCH had to stay alive there. Had to stay alive. Had to allow the Osa to get into position to place that Talon shield. I think just small little missteps there from both teams almost is picturesque to a certain game between Talon and Diables on the same map.
Maybe. Well, I mean, honestly, again, it's Elevate just being a bit silly and memeing the first attack. They had everyone stacked outside of Black Stairs and just thought, oh, maybe we can cheese it and just get into sight with some smokes or a Talon shield or two. Not the case. Talon are clued on just like they were on Villa. So take that round with a grain of salt. I'm sure Elevate now will smarten up a little bit. Head over towards Exhibition now, so on the opposite side of the map. And despite Elevate maybe having some small issues on this site, they did show that even under pressure they can make it work.
Little difference here for Elevate's attack. If every operator is stuck right now, Maverick is not going to be in play. It was what made opening up these walls so easy for Talon. I don't know whether they're going to be met with the same kind of issues. You do obviously have the mute jammers and you've got the electric claws that will both be used, both in play. Now, where are these electric claws? It doesn't look like they're on the top side of the roof. They must be underneath the desk and probably on the inside of bar. Are they? Well, wherever they are, it's definitely going to cause Elevate a little bit of trouble to try and open up. So we'll have to wait and see. There you go. So you got one at the very top side of the wall, just on the inside of bar. And so I could just imagine that the second one is definitely underneath the desk at some point.
Yeah, don't mind that.
So this is going to be really hard for Elevate to deal with. I don't know whether they're going to get the double wall open or not.
Quite cheeky. They don't have the Maverick, so good luck. Probably going to have to commit to a push elsewhere through Dragon and towards this office position, which they're trying to thermite. The nade doesn't hit the jammer.
Come on.
Skeleton key.
There we go.
Eventually hits the jammer. That allows Mark to come across and open that up with an exothermic, but slow goings. Almost every time Talon attack this site, albeit not as successful, they open up the wall almost 30 seconds into the round sometimes, the double wall straight towards the site. Elevate. They've been compromised. Sapper low, but being brought back up by the adrenal boost. Hetty though, the nail in the coffin, Soldier as well. Elevate once more, completely falling apart on their attacks. Talon mounting a resistance.
It's happening. Are you ready to start making your notes about Bank?
Not quite.
No, not just yet. But again, just to reiterate, you know, the use of Talon's utility here, whether Elevate are always going to go for the double wall or not, you can kind of move away from that. But the use of the utility really has slowed down Elevate significantly. Really impressive from Herity to find that double kill out by main lobby. So in a 2 versus 4, there is really not a lot Elevate have going for them. you know what? They got nothing going for them.
Onigiri, the last hope for Elevate. Does get one, but Soldier responds. Talon keeping things interesting here on the second map.
And right about now, for me, is when Elevate need to take their tack.
They won't.
You can wait an additional round, right? But at this point, you just had your butt handed to you 2 rounds in a row. Now, whether you want to put it down to some quirky picks on round 1 and just some overall good play from Talon in round 2, it doesn't matter. Rounds equal momentum in this game, and we've talked about the mental game so much. And for Elevate, of all teams, momentum is the single most important factor for them in these games. And if they do not slow the bleed, if they don't stop the bleeding, they can't even slow it at this point. They're going to stop the bleeding. Talon will take full advantage of that. The old, what's the old caster saying? I think I've heard every caster in existence say this: blood in the water. They smell it. You know, they're like sharks. And so if Elevate continue to show even the slightest bit of weakness, I do worry for them.
10 seconds to insertion.
Good opportunity though on the tertiary site here for Elevate.
Bomb located by attackers. 5 seconds remaining.
At that match point, extend the advantage.
Attackers objective is to defuse a
Talon will be nervous heading into this one. They know it's one of the weaker sites on Skyscraper, but they also know if they get it across the line, well, then we really are entering dangerous territory for Elevate. We're really struggling to get their teeth into some of these attacking rounds. Much more standard lineup from them though here for the 9th. No meme picks here. Elevate's starting to get a little bit sweaty in more ways than one. I think they're probably sweaty as in the trying hard sweaty, but also sweaty as in, guys, we're 2 rounds away from a major. Let's not stuff this up.
Well, that's it, isn't it? When you actually break it down like that, you have a potential, what, 4 rounds left? You only need 50% of them. You only need 50% of the next 4 rounds. And you will well and truly be booking your ticket to the Charlotte Major in North Carolina. Don't stuff this up.
Not much action so far in this round. Onigiri, though, might find himself in an engagement with Aziz. Both players, though, will fall back as he's droned, forced back. Don't mind that little rotation towards the bar. I'll swear, though, Soldier falls. Where was that from? Below, maybe? Was it a long angle, perhaps? I'm not too sure. Either way, though, it's going to be a tricky res and Talon on the back foot.
Tricky to say the very least. It's impossible now. DCH taking him down from just outside the single wall, I believe. As Mr. Punch now makes his way back across. Hang on, was that DCH found that? Or did he find the down to begin with? I don't know. I think I've lost my my bearings a little bit here. A 4 versus 5, not ideal for Talon here. This is where Talon really struggled on their attacks, was clearing out this top floor position. And Elevate are not faltering where Talon seem to slip and stumble.
Heady may be the last hope, but he's shut down. Demic in the 1v5. Elevate, seconds away from match point, series point, major point. Demic gets 1, but it's a swift trade from Mr. Punch. Elevate correct their mistakes. They find themselves on map point.
We're on here. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Elevate, after 4 majors have come and gone, they now find themselves in a position to secure 1 round. That's all it takes. Doesn't matter how you get it. You have 3 attempts for 1 round. Don't let it slip.
Tactical for Talon. Let's not write them out. I still think that it could well come back to that same objective, right? We see Talon just go back to the primary, secondary, they win those out relatively easily, like they did at the start of the half, and it all comes back down to that barbecue site. I would not be surprised at all if that's exactly what happens. I guess Talon elect to use the tactical now, though, just to reset things just a wee bit. They know there's just no second chances.
Nope.
We can't make it any clearer. Talon have put up a great fight, especially for their first effort in an APAC playoffs. But at the moment, just being edged out.
Regardless, I think, you know, whether you're a Korean fan, whether you're a Talon fan, whether you're an APAC North fan, I think you're proud of what Talon have already achieved in the playoffs, right? They've already done a lot of damage leading into this. They had a really close game with Direwolves. They opened up with a phenomenal match against the Chiefs. So from where we're standing, Talon have done an incredible job. To fall out here, to bow out against one of the best in APAC, by no means are you going to hang your head in shame. This has certainly been one to remember. But like you said, job's not done. Is job done?
Nope.
Job's not done.
Could still be a long way to go in this match, I think. Talon actually looking very strong on the primary and secondary sides. They'll need to reproduce that once more, and they're under a lot more pressure now than they were in those last couple of attempts. They know the stakes. Elevate. There'll be a mix of... a weird mix. A concoction of nerves and confidence at the moment, knowing that they're so close. But they also don't want to let this opportunity slide. They have played well today, for the most part. They've capitalized on their opportunities. DCH, inside of delivery, looking to maybe capitalize here, push 40 towards kitchen, get a kill. But there's not much action at the moment. It's quiet on Skyscraper. A grenade goes out. Aziz takes a lick of damage, but not much. This is Haiti down below. DCH, keep in mind, was the one holding down the line. A shock drone to drone in DCH, who pushes forward, sprays, but he doesn't find a thing.
Like this. Talon utilizing the hatches at the moment. Onigiri going down. Feel like there's a couple of times so far this game he's been the opening pick. Not having the impact as though we such thought he might have. Soldier's in a really dangerous position.
Oh, if he pushes forward, he might be dead. Oh, DCH was on a drone. I didn't see that coming. DCH definitely didn't. Talon. They go back to the primary site. They find themselves in a 5v3 with a minute to go. Oh. They should be winning this out. Oh. Surely, but Sapper keeps things interesting. It's a 4 versus 3, controlled down below for Elevate. They have a minute to convert it up above.
Definitely by no means are we done yet. Elevate, although they were in a 3 versus 5, they've got time to convert this. They've got to win their ones here. They cannot fall as they have just done. Just a punch, not in a position to trade quickly. Ooh. And now it's all under mark in a 1 versus 3. Never mind. Canos.
Wow, what a round. Keeping things alive for Talon, the primary site, they convert it. And now we start to think about the secondary. Good response. It was well composed. Start to finish, a 5v3. Really, really well played. Some good aggression as well. A little bit questionable there from Hetty, but we'll let that one slide. Doesn't really matter in the end. Canos, 4 kills. Huge. Big effort. Talon looking to now continue that momentum in towards Exhibition and Office.
And what's funny is, of those 4 kills, 3 of them came in the final 3. All pushing him individually. Not ideal by any means. It really has set Talon up to potentially make this comeback a reality. This is the site that has caused both teams the most trouble, in my opinion. It's been very unclear as to what team has really had the true advantage here. It's, you know, sometimes when you watch some rounds, and maybe this is just my low IQ brain, but you can kind of see, you can almost see like percentages on where teams are at. Like, yeah, okay, they're 80% done on checkmark, you know, they're getting things kind of moving along. You're starting to see where they're going to push in for an attack. Oh, God, that is a nasty Electric Claw.
Yeah, they didn't last time, remember? And they were so strong.
I thought it was just under the desk, but that's something else.
Yeah. Might steal that one for free.
Yeah, I'm definitely still on that one for, well, I mean, when I play. Look, I think the point I'm trying to make is this site for me seems to be the most unclear site that I have seen in all of Siege. I'm never really sure what team has the favor in it. And I think it goes to show for the last 4 attempts that we've seen from both Elevate and Talon, you're never really truly sure what's happening.
Bit of action over towards kitchen. Oh, this is so aggressive from Heady. Oh.
Bit worried?
I wonder what he's thinking right now. Do I push? I think he was even considering the jump out. Probably thinks better of that though, falls back. Applying a little bit of pressure here. Elevate. But they fall into their shells. No real boots on the ground at the moment. Being very, very safe.
He was looking big H, wasn't he? Looking hungry in kitchen for that kill.
Oh, they got the wall open.
Oh, wow. I would have to imagine that was a nade, surely.
That's big.
One nade missing on DC on Mr. Punch, so.
Has been dropped.
Oh, Heady! Hook, line, and sinker. Onigiri goes down yet again. That's with 2 nades in the pockets as well.
Onigiri has been struggling in the opening phases of some of these rounds, and Talon, for the most part, making them pay. A minute now remains. It's all about consolidation from this point onwards. Don't give anything away for free. The smokes from Elevate. No push as of yet.
Waiting for this peak. And behind the bar, just sees the player cross. Canos now will have the information that there could be a player swinging in the single door. With 30 seconds left, Elevate, they've got to dig deep here, and they have to find these trades.
Oh, that's big. That's huge from DCH. It's a 4-on-4. A major spot on the line for both of these teams.
Oh.
It's marked for Elevate, but the response from Canos again steps up, but it's a trade. Soldier, Demic, the last hope for Talon. 2v2, but Mark now, 8 seconds remains. He needs to pull something special, but Demic steps up. Talon survive for another round.
Ah! Demic! A 3K at the end when all hope was lost. A 2 versus 3. Elevate swarming the site, suffocating Talon. And they're gasping for air. Oxygen comes in the form of Demic. Relieves that tension. And now we're on map point or overtime point. Elevate take their tactical timeout in the 11th hour.
And look, not to dampen the tension too much, but there was a high probability this was going to happen, right?
Well, that's what you said.
Not often wrong.
Oh!
Hey, wasn't wrong yesterday.
Oh!
But no, in all seriousness, Talon showed really good promise on their attempts earlier of the primary and secondary sites, and they just replicate that. Really nice job.
Yep.
But they completely crumbled on this side last time. Elevate were really strong on the entries, got early picks. The upstairs hold on this barbecue site from Talon was torn to absolute shreds.
Yep.
Never stood a chance. But now they must produce something special. They must improve it.
Many bombs as they can.
They've had an opportunity off the back of Elevate's own tactical to quickly have a chat and work out how they're going to stay alive in this playoffs bracket.
Barbecue and kitchen, hey? It all sits on this for Talon. Both of these teams, the last time they played it, have lost 8-7. There's a little Xenox fun fact for you. And now it comes down
10
to
seconds left before insertion.
the final moment. Did you feel it, Guz? Did you feel the...
5 seconds to go.
I'm feeling a lot of things right now.
Yeah? Yeah? How are you feeling, big boy?
Attackers
I'm not feeling you. I'm
and
feeling
defuse it.
some tension, a bit of excitement,
I'm disappointed.
some nerves. As I'm sure a lot of the teams inside of this server are right now. Talon, double down, up above. They don't back off. Shields, lines of sight, reinforcements, mute jammers. Will Elevate be able to walk in like they did last time?
I don't want to do it to him.
Attackers
But
recovered.
Aziz is on 1 and 9. Really, really struggling here on Skyscraper. And it's not, look, it's not always about your kills, but especially in the latest meta, one-on-ones can really dictate rounds. And to that, Demica stood up, Hetty stood up, and Elevate now have the biggest of opportunities here. They're going to sweep once again like they did in the previous round. Bit of pressure. Out on the balcony. East to west push as well.
Conservative at the moment for Elevate. But a similar pattern to what we saw last time. Get control of Dragon, push across, get lines of sight in towards T, find a pick or two, and then convert in towards the site. DCH on this occasion not given anything for free though. Lots of angles that he needs to be mindful of. Pre-fires the right one, but the shots don't land.
User has been dropped.
Minute 20. T is preoccupied at the moment. Soldier has to back away. And Elevate are still yet to find an in. They're still yet to find their opening, which is a massive concern. In the previous round they attacked this, they wasted no time. They pushed in from balcony, they took the top of Black Stairs, they continued into T-Room, and so far they haven't hit the mark.
50 seconds now remains, and DCH struggling to push through the first engagement. It's awkward. Sapper, though, wins out. The LMG onto Aziz. Hetty needs to find a response. The shots, they eventually land. Canos, though, he's faltered elsewhere. It's a 2 versus 4. Elevate are this close to the major. Demic in the 1v4. He hits a nice shot, but Onigiri with the trade. The kings of Thailand snatch the crown with one hand, and with the other, their ticket to the major. Elevate, take a bow.
Guzzler take a bow as well. Tell you what, me and Dev may well truly lose our jobs yet. Truth be told, I've already lost my job. What a performance from Elevate. You could not ask more from this roster. They've been through it all. They've been through the highest highs of APAC South into the lowest lows, missing out on opportunity after opportunity.